In the previous video, we had a great day on the farm. We cleared the garden, we harvested, dug up the farm, weeded, we pruned trees, we cut some, and generally it was a hype of activities. And if you haven't watched it, kindly consider doing so. Hello and good morning, or whatever time you're watching, if it is evening or afternoon. This is African Mom's World, and I hope you are doing well. Here, let me say we are doing fantastic because God has given us another opportunity to see this day. It is indeed a cold day. The weather has really changed. We have just come from the hot season, had a day, I think 2 days of rain, and then now this is what we call winter in Kenya. It's really cold, considering we are in the slopes of the hill of Kilimambogo. So you can imagine how cold it can get. It is very cold. But anyway, I thank God because He has given us this good day. Thank you so much for always coming back to watch our videos. I don't take it for granted because without you, I would not get the motivation to continue doing these videos of the gardening work that I love. You give me a lot of motivation, especially those of you who give comments and also some suggestions of what we can do next. If this is your first time here, welcome, and kindly consider subscribing if this is the sort of content that you enjoy watching. Also hit the notification button so that YouTube will always remind you when we upload a video. Today is a continuation of yesterday's video, so come along with me. Spring onions are good to have on your farm, and they're so easy to weed. Just look at the way we are weeding them. On this same multi-story garden, actually it was supposed to be one, but we did not continue. We just left the base only. So we planted spring onions here. And the ones that are few in one stem, they are doing very well. But for others that are lumped together, we had to remove them and transplant elsewhere, but within this same radius, because we have put a lot of chicken manure here, so it does well. So what we did is just to split them out, because when they're lumped together, they don't do well. We also have those dry like leaves around, so we have to remove some of those dry leaves, then ensure that we have the roots around the same length, because when you plant them, when they are so long, then they fold and they don't grow so well. So we had to split them, arrange them well, then cut even the green part. If it is long enough, you can use it for cooking because it's just okay. But this one was relatively short, so I didn't see the need of us cutting it. So it's only the roots that I chopped off so that they're a little shorter, and when it's planting, they can go straight into the soil, so it makes it easier for them to grow. So using my machete or my panga, I was able to make holes and plant them spread out within this whole area. As you can see, we also have pawpaws. So many seedlings, because after eating pawpaws, we just throw them here. Then they germinate. Then we are able to transplant them elsewhere. But since we're having a new variety, we don't need this many young pawpaws. So we just uprooted them and planted the spring onions throughout the place. So it's a bit tough. This soil is a bit tough. We haven't watered it for some time, and so it's not so easy to penetrate as you're planting them. That's why we have to use this sharp object. But anyway, we were able to do the planting all round. At some places like here, you can see our container there is not doing well. It needs some repair. Actually, initially we thought that we would just remove this whole thing because it's not serving the purpose. We could as well just plant these spring onions on the ground, but it's not the rainy season, so it's not the best time to transplant them. So they're doing well here. That's why we're just splitting them to see how they perform. The important thing is just to ensure that we have done proper weeding and also loosened the soil around all the spring onions. Within a short time, they will do very well. So even in the process of weeding, we discovered that there was this ginger that we had planted some time back, and we did not remember. Ginger does not age or does not rot easily because this has been quite some time. I think this was sometime last year, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. So we had done some land preparation earlier, and because we want to plant some onions here, the red bulbed onions, we had to make rows. Actually, we just made line rows, not planting anyhowly, because it's easier when they're in a line. So I made lines just enough for the onions that I had, which had already come from a seed bed. And I made with the proper spacing so that they do not become a problem. Since it had already been dug earlier in the morning, it is quite easy to make these rows. I didn't need to contract somebody because it was not so difficult for me to do it. Then I had goat manure, which I have used generally on this farm. In most of the things that we have grown, we bought some goat manure, and we had some left. So I put some in the lines. Let us call them rows. Actually, they are rows. So I put some because they will be able to grow faster and better and healthier. Organic manure is actually the best. And it was not so much, so I had to use it sparingly. I wonder what you use. So after I had put the goat manure inside the rows, I took the onions, which were already from the seed bed, and just arranged them in the row. Actually, I don't know the correct spacing, but I was just estimating and arranging them in such a way that even if the bulb grew so big, or even the leaves grew very big, it would not interfere with the next one. If you actually know the spacing, kindly let me know in the comment section what is the correct spacing when you're planting onions, the red bulb onions. This one I wasn't taught, so I just use what I know. But I know what is important is to mark the spacing. Let them not be too close. It will be difficult to weed, especially when it is from one onion to another, and then also some good spacing between the rows. That will be quite helpful even when you're weeding them later on, because normally you'd have to put some soil around them. So when that was done, now I had to plant the onions. Generally, it was about putting soil around them, making sure that the roots are not bent, or the one that we are planting has roots, because sometimes when you are uprooting from the seed bed, it comes without the seeds. You can actually pluck without them having the roots, not seeds, the roots. So it will not actually grow. It will just die if it doesn't have roots. So that's what we made sure. Then when that was done, we went into the eggplant. I really love eggplant, and I cook them a lot with mostly with eggs. So I buy a lot, and I decided, oh my, why not just plant them? So just the same way we had done the bulb onions, I arranged them in the rows, ensuring good spacing, because these ones grow a little bigger than the onions. And then we had already put cow dung. Then now planted them just the same way we planted the bulb onions. It's not a different process. And these ones were not so many. I think I had around 15 pieces. So I did that very easily, ensuring that there is enough soil around each of the eggplant. Then after that, the place is also quite dry now. There's no rain. So after planting, we just had to water them. Normally, I prefer doing watering or sprinkling of the water either in the morning or in the evening. But this time, this is around 11, and I'm watering them after planting, which is not bad because it is really cold outside. Normally, if you have been watching my videos, I just use my hands to sprinkle the water. But now you can see I have an improvised watering can. Can you rate it? Actually, I have so many of these containers, and I decided why not? So I just cut one of these jugs that we have for oil, cut it, and just used it for sprinkling. I used a nail to make holes at the bottom, and you can see it is removing quite some good amount of water. So I watered the bulb onions, then the eggplants, and as you can see here, just in front of the eggplant, we have cowpeas. So we also watered the cowpeas. They have germinated. But here we have a grafted mango tree. I'm really praying that it survives, because the tip where the graft was done has dried up. So what is remaining is the original fruit, which may be the normal variety. But anyway, we keep watering and trusting that it will do well. The cowpeas have done well, and only what we need is to water them, and very soon we'll be harvesting. So thank you so much for always coming back to watch our videos. I really appreciate you. And for watching to this end, thank you so much. The next video will be a continuation of this one. So see you then.